tidy data is an important concept when working with the Tidyverse because all the tools work so much better if you have your data tidy. This is a quote from Hadley Wickham, who is, well, he created ggplot, dplyr, many other packages. He's a chief scientist at RStudio. Tidy datasets are all alike, but every messy dataset is messy in its own way. So yeah, I've drawn on R for data science again for much of these next couple of sessions. So tidy data, it's perhaps quite intuitive. We'd never really think about how data is arranged, and perhaps that's a good thing. But well, in life as a whole, but in R, it's perhaps useful to think about it some more. So with tidy data, each variable should have its own column. Each observation should have its own row, and each value should have its own cells. Why would you do tidy data? Why would you take time and effort to arrange your data in a tidy way? For two reasons really, because having a consistent data structure means developers can create tools that work in a uniform way, which means they're easy to use for us, and that means our wrangling on our visualization and our modeling is much easier. And in R, we have our vectorized nature. If we exploit that vectorized nature, as tidy data does, then the thinking process behind, we're doing a lot of wrangling problems. The thinking process behind these wrangling problems is much simpler, and we can save our thoughts for the actual modeling and the visualization rather than getting bogged down with all the programming details. So that's two reasons why tidy data is important. So can we look at importing the two data sets we loaded in the importing data session? So that's the WHO cases, the TB cases, and the population. This is well, what I refer to as a wide table, and we want to make it long. So both tables are in fact untidy. They're untidy actually in the same way. So we can use gather, which will take this wide table and make it long. How we use gather is we start with our original data frame. This will print to the console, by the way, and that's fine. We don't need to create a new object for this. We give name to a variable which currently forms the column names. So in this case, we want year. And we give a name then to the variable which is spread over the cells, and that's cases. Say we're working with TB cases in this instance. And then we list the set of columns that represent values that are not variables. So I think actually if we go through this using this piece of code, and then I think it's easier to visualize what's happening. So again, 2 to 5 is a vector 2, 3, 4, 5. Completed that. Can you again assign it to a new object? Because we're going to need to use it later. So having mastered gather with cases, can you also do it for pop and assign it to an object, which I haven't done here? So across the top, pop has, I think, year again. And in the cells, it's not cases. In the cells, you have population. So those are your two new column headers. And the number of columns that you need to reshape is the same as last time. Yes, you need to reshape 2 to 5 again.